All right, everyone, welcome back to Premier Study in Investing. Today we're looking at Revive Therapeutics, ticker RVVTF, trade on the Canadian Securities Exchange. There's been some rumors and some rumblings that they've been approved to join NASDAQ, be traded on NASDAQ, but either that is still waiting to be approved or it definitely hasn't happened yet. Currently they're an OTC, trade on OTC. But if I find the link, I will definitely drop that in the comment section or in the description, probably both. So you can see the 3-month chart. And I think a nice entry point on this is actually around 19 cents. You can see over here, day trading somewhere between 17.2 cents and 20.2 cents. Now, oftentimes it's there's a pretty big spread on this. So, but it has consistently since about the second week of August really just traded sideways. There's been some volatility day over day. So I think a lot of people are waiting to see what's going to come of a lot of these different news results. Before we jump right into the headlines, I want to just draw your attention to the rating summary on the right. And one thing I just want to say is no one's really covering this. I mean, it's a small penny stock. Revive only has a market cap of 31.5 million, so very, very, very small. And I mean, it's just flying under the radar. Credit Suisse, Schwab, Morningstar, Ned Davis, Argus, CFRA. Nobody's really got eyes on this thing. Interesting thing for a stock that has such a low price is that they announced FDA phase 3 clinical trial for their lead product, butylamine, for the Rona. A bit about the company just in general. So they're still trying to evaluate the safety and efficacy of butylamine in patients with mild to moderate. They've got 5 clinical sites. They're looking to enroll 1,000 patients, and they want to treat 3 times a day with 100 milligrams of butylamine. So I didn't mention this before, but they really focus on the development of therapeutics for medical needs and rare disorders. They use psychedelic therapies, which apparently is like this cutting edge thing that drug researchers are looking at. What we learn is the psilocybin is taken orally through a thin film product. And you can read more about that. It looks like they're running research partnerships with Reed Research Group out of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So Madison, Wisconsin, very good school. So they say the plants and even the crustacean group that they're using as part of the materials for their drugs, it says having antibacterial, antifungal, antioxidant, wound healing properties. And there's even other ones that have blood clotting and antimicrobial properties. So in mid-September of 2020, they announced that their company had the expanded access protocol for compassionate use of butylamine for the treatment of Rona patients. And that received approval from the Independent Institutional Review Board, which I guess is a big deal. I don't know. So I guess the big news is that once you get that approval, now severe Rona patients may access butylamine under FDA compassionate use program under medical supervision by their physician. It says the EAP, so expanded access protocol, serves as an option for patients that are not eligible for inclusion criteria in our phase 3 clinical study. They had another headline early September 2nd. It says that they entered into a clinical trial agreement to evaluate psilocybin for the treatment of methamphetamine use disorder. Again, collaborating with the University of Madison, Wisconsin. Looks like it's intended to help people who have been recurrent users of methamphetamines. Again, this 1-month chart is a little bit easier to see, but a lot of times down at 19 cents you can get it, just under 19 cents. It's not that difficult. But some decent run-ups, the best being 23 cents. Like I said, there's usually a spread on this. So they are in the CSE, and under that they use the ticker RVV. U.S. traders, RVVTF. So one of the things about their overall strategy is targeting FDA designations of orphan drug status, which is basically a disease that affects less than 200,000 people in the United States. One thing I'm always looking for when I look at these companies is, are they only doing a Rona treatment or do they have anything else going for them? So like Moderna, it's very hard for me to be convinced on getting into Moderna and I'm not in it because, I mean, what else do they have? So butylamine for various infectious diseases, including the Rona, but also for gout. Here at the bottom, it also looks like autoimmune hepatitis they're working on. Let's see if they can find anything else. So some people have talked about this as a possible entry, looking for an acquisition by one of the big pharma companies. They kind of hinted that in their investor presentation that Allergan acquired Toberia for 1.7, Novartis this other company for $650 million, and Gilead Sciences acquired Nimbus for $1.2 billion. So could be, I suppose, something to think about. So on the technical side, I can't really speak to this as far as, is it going to be effective? Are the things that we know about it going to give it an advantage for liver diseases, for gout, for other infections, for the Rona? I don't know. I mean, no one does. That's why they have to run the trials. It's not just for safety. It's also for efficacy. So, there's a scientific process. So maybe some of us can pull more out of this right here than others. But one thing that I think we can all see is that it has a well-known safety profile, which is really important. I think that's probably helped to get into the phase 3. It's prescribed in the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis in Japan and South Korea for over 30 years. So people know a lot about it. It kind of reminds me of remdesivir, where you had an older drug, and it's not the only one that's like this, but you have an older drug that people say, hey, we know it's safe, So we can maybe skip phase 2 and really get going on as far as looking at the efficacy. We know about the safety. Let's see what we can find out about the efficacy, especially for the Rona. And so I'll finish the video off with this article from Insider Financial. They say RVVTF is a cheap Rona 19 play. I mean, they basically talk about how a lot of the big names already had their run up and the easy money in those names has already been made. So, about the compassionate access, the science, the FDA support, just entering into phase 3. Now, what they say is interesting is that the market cap is just $42 million on this. So obviously the price was up a little bit more. The share price was up a little bit more than it is today. That's the difference between the 35 and the 42. But they say that we know of no other biotech that has advanced this far with the FDA and trades at such a low valuation. If RVVTF was listed on the big board, it would easily have a multi-billion-dollar market cap. Okay, I guess. So they see 2 possible scenarios playing out. One is that Revive signed a joint venture with a big pharma to advance its phase trial. Pfizer, they say, is one name that we've been hearing about in the rumors. And the second is the FDA meets next month to discuss all the phase 3 trials. Revive will be on that list. Could Revive also make the list for Operation Warp Speed funding? I don't know. The company certainly qualifies, they say. Smart investors shouldn't wait around to jump on the RVVTF train. It is perhaps the best risk-reward setup we've seen all year. Actually, I agree with that last part. It's very inexpensive. It is up, maybe depends where you call the start, but maybe on the start of the year. So again, if we go back to their year-to-date chart, 2 cents up to now it's 20 cents. So it's already 10x, you could say, even to where it is now if it's trading at 20 cents. So it's 10x already, but they say, hey, it could go much, much further than that. As always, good luck to all except the shorts. Well, that's really it. One thing I'll say is they do have a Facebook group that you can join. It's free. And I liked how this one comment came in. It says, these people need to update. We need an update here. So there's just not really a lot to say. Basically what I've told you is what there is to know. We looked at their pipeline. They have some patents pending. They have a couple different ideas of what they could do with pusillanimig. They are a very, very cheap, very, very small micro-cap company. Not a huge run-up in the shares. Not a lot of people covering it as far as analysts. Not a lot of big news. 20 cents a share. You can pick up a lot of shares. Total shares outstanding is only 189 million. So it's not like a billion or 1.5 billion or all of that stuff. Well, I know it wasn't too flashy of a video, but I hope that helps you think about possible investment for the future. Thanks.